Dragons live adventure. I, as always, am your host, Danny Allinson, playing the role of Bryn Wanders. With me here tonight, Jonathan Edwards playing Narroth, Danny Garcia playing Astor, Rachael Murphy will be playing Isgrim Barazon, Alan Seymour is playing Lady Lilith von Kiln, Robert Seitz is playing Zarrius, servant of Obad-hai, and of course we have our Dungeon Master, Christopher Rondeau. Chris, how you doing?
Doing great.
How's everybody else? Go at once.
Good.
Woohoo!
As another stroke hits Danny Allinson.
Last week on Low Rollers, after saving a town called Daneth from an ice dragon, our heroes got separated in the woods, and one of them was dragged off into the forest. Chris, take it away.
Perfect. We're going to follow the person who was taken into the forest, our beloved hero, Astor Mithlader. Astor Mithlader was knocked out by a fire fey elemental wielding a scimitar and a water fey elemental wielding a trident, and between that battle was too much for him to overcome. He was knocked out, dragged into the woods by vines, and this is where he finds himself waking up. He is traveling along the forest floor, sort of being dragged along, and the only thing he can really hear in his head is the Archfey Dav, who's just saying small words of encouragement. It's okay. You'll be okay. You'll make it through. And that's where we'll pick up. Astor, do you want to do anything immediately?
No, he's not going to resist.
Surprise. Moving on. Where we left off before the crash, Astor finds himself in the middle of a clearing, the vines throwing him to this opening, and in the center is this temple. I view it kind of like an Aztec pyramid / ziggurat that's sort of there in its stone, also kind of run down as you would expect from the Aztec ancient civilization. And as Astor regains his composure, he sees Dav running beside him. Well, more skipping, I guess. For a quick description of Dav, Dav is an archfey who was trapped in Astor's sword, and you can kind of see that aesthetic coming in her person. She has a light greenish tint skin and blonde hair, which is pretty typical of the Eladrin. But she also has bits and pieces of her face and skin that seems to be covered in technological metal, almost making her kind of cyborgish. The most prominent feature is on the left side of her face. Appears to, I kind of envision this like cyborg from DC, where it's kind of covering her face and her eyeball is slightly red, while the other side has a nice blue iris to it. And she comes skipping, and in Astor's head, he will hear, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
Well, minus getting knocked out earlier, I think I'm alright. I take it I'm going to have to go in there. He indicates towards the building.
Oh, I don't know. It's possible you can wait as well, but it seems like the forest isn't going to let us leave.
Well, until they come to me, I guess I'll kill time by taking a look at this interesting piece of architecture. And Astor starts heading towards the building to kind of check it out.
Cool. Perception check.
Do I get advantage with sight?
Sure, yeah, because Dav is there. As you look around through the forest, you will realize that you are being watched. Upon closer evaluation, you see some of the elemental creatures that you saw before kind of looking into you. There is, maybe about a dozen of them, and you will also see some tieflings going out throughout. My neighbor's dog is going crazy.
So do I just...
watching you in the forest, it's a dog.
We can hear it. So am I just seeing all of these people like at the edge of my vision, or?
Yeah. So you know, basically you can kind of, because you, I'm a cat person.
Just roll with it. It's a creepy noise that people are hearing emanating from the forest, right?
Sure.
That makes Astor slightly terrified.
Of a dog?
No.
If the dog is your biggest threat, I think you're okay. Okay, so you see a bunch of elementals. So upon first glance, you only really see kind of like their eyes, and then the second thing you notice is sort of the energy emanating from the elementals. You know how in like places of power, you just kind of can feel the presence of raw power. You get that sense. The third thing you notice is some of the less stealthy tieflings. They, you know, maybe you'll see like a ruffle of clothing or something like that. You can hear a ruffle of clothing, and then upon looking that direction, you can see, for the briefest of seconds, a humanoid figure, and then you see one dog.
So they just
who is now quiet.
So are they kind of just watching out of curiosity, or what do I get from their stares?
I think curiosity would be a fair thing.
You know what Astor's going to do then? He's going to sit cross-legged on the floor, take out his lute, and just play and wait.
Sure. How long would you like to wait? We'll say, 10 minutes goes by. You still waiting?
Yeah, and I mean, if nothing happens at that point, he'll probably actually check out the building. He'll pretend to have not noticed people watching him.
Cool. I think as Astor gets up, someone will come and approach.
Oh, what do they look like?
So you see a handful of tieflings, 5. They're kind of wearing like basic leathers and nondescript clothing. They seem to have a lot of braids and jewelry on their face and hair. Think of like an assortment of earrings and maybe like hair bands and that sort of thing, bandanas possibly covering the hair. 4 of them appear to be female, and there is one male, but there's a female person leading the group.
Okay. Astor is going to face them. He's going to greet them with his with like a friendly wave. He'll go, "Well, hello there. How goes it?"
You seem to have frustrated the Fae in this area.
Not on purpose.
That's probably true.
So, why did I get thrown here?
Because you have Fae blood in you. It's interesting. I'm not quite sure what's going on yet.
Do you think you'll be able to figure it out eventually?
I don't think that's up to me.
Oh, I see.
She kind of gives a slight smirk. Upon closer examination, you do notice that she has a wooden staff on her back. Probably not that unsimilar to the one Zarrius has. She appears to have confidence in her eyes. She walks straight, and you can tell that when she kind of moves left and right with her hand movement, she talks with her hands quite a bit. Once in a while, one of the people following her would just flinch slightly.
Astor is going to notice that, and he's going to say, "So, have you been to the city of Zhangzhou?"
What?
I see you doing things with your hands. They did that a lot as well.
No, no. What? I haven't even heard of that place.
Well, if you haven't heard of it, then the answer is no. So, what's gonna happen now?
I don't know. I think it's up to. I was told that there was like 100 people who came into the Fae.
Into the bay.
Well, this place is kind of between the natural world and the Fae. It's technically in the natural world, but it's also kind of in the Fae.
Oh, I see. Well, yes, they are here because we requested aid from the forest in the form of traveling into it to avoid ice storms and a very humongous and powerful white dragon that was flying in the sky. Thinking now, I'm kind of surprised that they let us through.
And who are you exactly?
Oh, my apologies. My name is Astor Mithlader.
Insight, please. So they're going. Everyone but Astor, which is nobody, so never mind. So they'll begin to walk towards you, and they're just like, Mithlader, huh? Hi, I am Lady Samora Silyana. I think we'll pause the scene there for a second. We're going to arrive with the rest of the party, who are recovering from their wounds of the battle. At least some of you are, and we see Bryn, Lilith, Narroth, Zarrius, and Iskrim meeting up together, and where they suddenly hear this large thunderclap, and they out of the side they see Yvette Yaldwin appearing like thunder from one of the pathways.
Yvette, have you seen Astor?
Yeah, Astor was just taken. Like from I'm being followed, and she looks around and no longer sees the figures there. It's like I was being followed.
What took Astor?
The vines? I don't know. Maybe there's a druid here or something.
Well, we just got in a fight with somebody, and they said something about Astor.
Yeah, I mean, we were attacked by these. I don't know what they were. They seemed to carry the power of the elemental planes, but they weren't. I don't understand.
Narroth looks over. Were they dogs? 'Cause I think I heard something in the forest there a while back.
Yes.
That's sure one.
Were they...
No dogs. Dang it.
Me and Narroth were confronted by an elemental being as well, but I trapped him and he went away.
Well, where is it? Can we question it?
No, it went away. It disappeared.
What does that mean?
Like, it just disappeared.
It did the opposite of what you did because you weren't here and poof, you appeared and it poof disappeared.
Yeah, I just shot when
What?
it did the same thing.
Well,
I put it in a field that prevents magic from going in and out. because I didn't want to fight it. We weren't trying to fight things from the forest. And that after a while, it flew up in the air and then it disappeared.
Narroth looks over and nods. It was honestly very impressive. I didn't even have to do a thing.
So where is Astor? That's what we need to worry about. Are we gonna get attacked again?
Maybe we could ask the forest?
Yeah, Bryn is walking up to a tree right now.
Okay. Bryn walks up to a tree.
Do you know where our friend is? Or, well, are you willing to tell us where our friend is?
No answer.
Forest ain't talking. These trees don't speak.
But sometimes there's a dog.
That hut that was there by us. I cast detect magic. Is it magical?
The tree?
No, the hut.
Oh, the hut? No, the hut is not magical. Sorry.
Is my eyes blinded by the magic of the forest?
I mean, the forest is magical, but the hut is clearly not. I mean, you can tell the difference.
Now, we've seen a couple huts and tree houses throughout here. Narroth is going to pick one that he can see within, a reasonable distance and try to explore it.
Yeah, so just picking hut, walking in?
Yeah, seeing if there's something strange or different about this, if something maybe lived here, what lived here, kind of thing.
Yeah, so Narroth will probably have a very good idea of this. He would recognize that when people set up places for people to stay if they're traveling, like maybe like in Warbid, there were places where you definitely had a place to rest for the evening. People would set up water supplies in various places. On oases, they may have a place already set to make a campfire easily, or some firewood already gathered, and you kind of pay it forward. If you have time, you collect stuff for the next person.
Interesting. So this looks like a way stop, basically.
Correct.
Very interesting. I'm going to return back to the party and say, well, it looks like this place has definitely been a path for those before us. There's something of a way stop in each of these huts here.
Interesting. And as I witnessed Narroth go into this hut, did I see him struggling to get there in terms of directions, whatnot?
No, I don't. Not at this point.
Okay.
Well, as I see it, there's only one way to figure this out. Start walking.
But let's make sure and not lose track of each other, because my experience with this, it's very easy to lose members of your party. Not specifically Astor and what just happened, but in my previous experiences back in the Feywild.
Even when we got here, we lost each other.
So let's stay nice and close.
Well, I mean, I know Narroth knows how to fly, or at least has the magic capabilities for that. Would it hurt him to fly up and look around, or?
Now, looking up, is this? Can we see sky, or is the overhead like a canopy of trees?
So a lot of it is canopy. It is hard to get a clear vision of the sky, but you definitely can, push the leaves aside to get through if you choose to.
Interesting. Narroth is going to go ahead and concentrate on his dagger and kind of grip it a little tighter, and you can see from his back wings start to form, and he flies up a little higher and does this little scouting.
As Narroth flies up, Lilith activates her boots and follows.
I kind of give a shrug as I'm thinking that this isn't going to do us very good.
You think it's like, well, will they get lost if they try to leave? I mean, what's is this really the best decision? She's almost shaking at this point.
But what Lilith is doing is she's staying just inside the canopy, but like high enough up to keep an eye on Astor or on Narroth, but also low enough to keep an eye on the people on the ground. So like she's a go-between between Narroth and the party.
Quick question. How long have our characters been awake for? Because you said if we travel going in one direction, we actually change time of day. So me asking time of day is not cool, but how long have we been awake for?
Cool. So that particular thing that is part of the Feywild. That time rule, you don't know. I mean, Iskrim probably wouldn't know at all, but it's not necessarily being applied to this particular area. This is the weird in-between thing that's going on. It's hard to distinguish that, but you've only been in the forest for about an hour. It might not even have been that long, honestly.
So we were up all day. We had a party, which was then attacked, and then ran into the forest.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So Iskrim looks at everybody and says, "Hey, look, we have been awake for a very long time. It is time to rest. I would actually suggest that we use this way station and take a nap."
So, okay, let me get a clear imagery of what's going on. Is Narroth and Lilith still flying up upon hearing this?
At this point, Narroth is using his ability for flight to do some scouting. So if he can see down the paths and see if the way is all clear, then he's going to come back down and agree to some scouting. If not, then he's going to inform the party of any danger or reason not to do some resting.
Cool. We'll do that now. So Narroth explores. How does he explore? Does he go above the tree line?
I figure if you go above the tree line, you're not going to be able to see anything in the trees. So he's probably going to stay underneath the tree line, but he's going to venture farther down the path in all, if I remember correctly, there are 3 directions, and see if anything is coming.
Yeah, I'll give this to you. It doesn't appear like anything is coming from any directions.
Perfect. At that point, Narroth is going to land and say, "This forest looks clear, almost like it's just a path. Perhaps a rest would do us all some good."
Well, what about Astor?
Bryn is going to go up to Yvette and just kind of, she'll get close to her and just kind of like grab her hand. Be like, "It's okay. We will figure this out."
For what? But should we be resting?
We're not going to be doing him any good in the state that we're in. Zarrius has taken quite a bit of punishment. Isgrim looks like he's taken some. You even look like you've taken some. I'm pretty tapped out on my magic for today. We need to rest.
But he's out there alone. What if something happens? I mean,
he's got Dav.
You're kidding, right?
No, I'm serious.
You met Dav.
Yes, I know. I've met Dav quite well. He'll be fine.
I'm going to hobble up to Yvette and say, "Yvette, if there's anyone who belongs in this forest, it is Astor. He is the only one that can be connected in any way to the people here. He is technically nobility in this area, even though he's the son of nobility. But if anything, he is the safest out of all of us. I think we, especially me, need to be trying to save up my energy for something later on and hopefully be able to heal up or make myself feel better.
See? There you go. He'll be okay. She's Bryn is gonna start leading Yvette into the way station.
Alright. She'll follow.
I mean, there's not much choice. Bryn has her by the hand.
I mean, she can.
That's fair enough.
Zarrius and Isgrim, you guys need the most rest. Me and Bryn, and I look to Bryn, will take the first watch.
She just gives a thumbs up while she's walking into the way station.
A quick question. Am I able to use a healing kit before I try and get some sleep? Since we weren't able to use it after the fight last session.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, I'd like to use a healing kit, and that's a fourth of my overall health. Is that correct?
It's technically half your bloodied value, so
Half bloodied. Okay.
which is effectively a quarter.
Okay.
But you know,
Which is effectively exactly what you said.
Okay, cool. I take it we're all in here area-ish.
yeah. I mean, you guys just kind of getting in and taking watches and passing out.
Yes, if they allow me to pass out for longer, I'd appreciate it.
Go for it.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be able to get my spells back anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Sure, but you can fight off exhaustion by sleeping your 8 hours or 6 hours and 2 hours of whatever.
Right.
So why don't you guys tell me who's taking watch in what order, and then we'll see if you want to do any scenes, and then maybe we'll move over to Astor.
Well, it sounds like Bryn and Lilith are taking first watch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Then probably Narroth and Isgrim, probably.
Sounds good to me.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can take third with Zarrius, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to do any scenes, or you just want to push the fast forward button?
I'm okay with fast forward personally.
Let's
But
fast
it's-
forward.
Okay, we sleep 8 hours.
Well, not
Well,
quite.
well, we're not
gonna
quite,
go
but
over to
yeah,
Astor
sure.
first.
Just pushing the wait button in Skyrim. Setting it to 8 hours and
As time passes very slowly.
yeah. I don't have a scene.
Cool. Let's just go over to Astor.
All right.
So you are in front of Lady Samora Siliana and around this sort of temple, and she takes your hand, shakes it, and goes, I'm sorry, we're not used to having visitors here, especially a Mithlader.
Oh. Does my name stand out so much?
Surely you're a Mithlader.
Well, by birth, yes, through my mother, but if I had to be honest, I hadn't really spent that much time with the Feywild.
Why? Why not take your birthright?
Is the birthright that important?
If you're a Mithlader, yeah.
Well, that explains why she's so adamant in trying to get me back.
I don't understand why you would reject it.
Well, if I have to be honest, there are things I want to do here, and by here I mean in this world. And if I were to go back with my family, I wouldn't be able to accomplish what I'd like. I know. Sorry.
That's interesting. I don't quite understand.
Well, neither did the forest, I guess. Not that I'm holding it against the forest or yourselves either. We just have different way of looking at things, I suppose. Is me wanting to help somebody else really that foreign of a concept?
Well, you could be helping a lot more if you kept your birthright.
At this point, Astor does the timeout the timeout sign with both of his hands like a T, and he goes, "Oh, hold on. Why would my birthright help out more?"
Have you never seen leaders? They have the power to make or destroy the people that they lead.
Well, I can understand that, but why would I need to claim my piece of the Feywild? I guess I should say it.
So you can lead. Did I not make that clear?
Well, I'll be honest. Being able to use that would be very helpful for what I want to do. Just not quite sure why it has to be the Feywild.
Because you were born into that.
Astor kind of ponders for a little bit, probably about 20 seconds before he replies. And he says, "Well, who could I speak to that would give me more insight into what you're talking about?"
Have you tried your family?
No.
That would probably be it.
You see Astor has kind of an impatient expression on his face. And then he says, "Well, actually, let me ask a favor of you, if that's all right. I know very little about what I'm about to ask you, but just how influential is Mithlader in the Feywild?"
The Mithlader is the head family of the Springwoods. Surely you know that.
I do now.
She kind of rubs her eyes for a second. You know, you can just kind of see the frustration rising on her face.
Astor said, my apologies. While I was raised as a younger child, my mother did not really talk too much about the Feywild, so I hope you will forgive my ignorance.
A lot of the problems with this forest is likely you negating some of your heritage.
Well, I will admit it would be good to accept everything about who I am. I guess I should say that I may have been a little too hasty to just say no to the Feywild, but at the time I would say I had a legitimate reason.
Well, whatever that reason was, we're here now.
Yeah, that we are.
Why are you here?
Well, long story short, I suppose. The continent that I was born on, Excelsior, which is across the ocean, somewhere that way, and Astor kind of just indicates nonchalantly in a nondescript direction. But that continent is currently in danger, I suppose, from someone named Lectress Leon, who is able to control...
Yes, we're familiar.
Well, I'm just here in the forest particularly, just because it was to help the people that were being attacked by ice dwarves, and I got dragged here by vines.
No, the ice doors are on our borders?
Yep.
Okay. Well, they won't be able to get in.
Oh, that's the hope.
So, you're just here because you're trying to escape the ice doors?
Well, I'm here because I was trying to help the townsfolk, and then I got knocked out by those people, and Astor indicates in the general direction of some of the elementals that were in the area.
They're not happy with you. We've had a couple of discussions with them when you entered.
Oh, I'm well aware. I was knocked unconscious. That usually means people aren't happy with me. Not that it happens that often, mind you. So, I guess, I don't know. How do I put this? What can I do to alleviate their tension, if you will?
You can go to the Feywild?
Astor gives a blank stare 5 seconds and then says, "Will I be able to come back?"
I don't know.
Therein lies the problem.
What do you know of the Fey?
The Fae? Very little, I'm afraid. I mean, the only one who I've had extensive interactions with aside from my mother would be Dab over here. Astor indicates towards Dab wherever she might be on the scene.
She's probably, maybe like 20 feet behind you, just kind of observing. And you see them kind of, and you, as you indicate to her, like, who?
Dab, she's an archfey of the Feywild.
Where is she?
Can you not see her?
See an archfey?
Yes. At this point, Astor's going to walk towards where Dav is and kind of indicate with both of his arms and hands, like, here, this is where Dav is.
You see her put her fingers to her lips and just makes a shushing look or a gesture.
At that point, Astor stops waving his arms and he says, "Well, I guess she's not here."
What? Are you feeling okay? Are you sure you say who you say you are?
I know for a fact my name is Astor, but you would also have to forgive me for being hit very hard recently.
How many people were with you? I mean, we can maybe help some of the non-combatants. We can appeal to the Feywild for that way, but if any of your friends brought weapons or, if they can sense the power, it's going to put the Fey on edge.
I see. There were 6 people that came with me who are more combat-oriented, I guess you can say. If you were to give me if you were to allow me to approach them and just tell them that the Fae wants us out ASAP, I can do that. I'll need a little cooperation with the forest letting me go through, but I can tell them to not irritate or agitate the Fae any more than we may have already.
The Fae took you here. We don't. The Fae leads us where the Fae leads us. We're nomadic. We don't stay in one place. We just go where the path opens up.
I see. That's an interesting way of life, I'll admit.
Well, they took us here to see you.
I see.
Let's see if we can drag your friends here. We can try. I can try.
All right. I appreciate that. Just, if possible, don't tell the vines to like throw them the way they threw me.
No promises. Wow, it's weird seeing a Mithlader, but like not a true Mithlader. She just kind of walks off.
Astor kind of yells off in her direction. Half Mithlader.
Never mind. So let's cut back to the rest of the party. First watch goes by. Bryn and Lilith are just kind of chilling there. Bryn and Lilith
for the most part, yeah.
Cool.
I'd say, well, Bryn is probably just outside the way house. She hasn't crossed. Well, she's probably standing in the threshold, not outside of it. Is it shaped like this?
Pretty much. In this case, while the forest is not quite in this position at this exact moment, it is kind of like that.
Okay, I was speaking more to the layout of the way station itself.
Yeah, the way station is laid out kind of like that.
Okay, so Bryn will probably then be outside on the steps with her compass out.
Your compass is kind of going crazy.
Oh, good.
It's seemingly not pointing in any one direction. It's kind of like it will go you would see it and it will settle, and then you'll wait a couple seconds and it kind of spins around again, and then it will settle in a different spot. Yeah. But why don't you give me a perception check?
Okay.
What is Lilith doing?
Probably the same, sitting there with Bryn, just staring off into the quiet.
Cool. Why don't you give me a perception check? This is relying on hearing.
So I don't get my advantage.
Correct. Okay. You guys don't hear anything. So some time goes by, and eventually, you guys can try to catch some Z's, and it'll be Narroth and Iskrim next.
Yep.
Cool. I'll take intelligence checks from both of them. It's just going to be an interesting roll.
By interesting, you clearly mean brutal.
All right, so Iskrim will, as you kind of get up and you look around, and the forest kind of feels and looks a little different than when you went to sleep. Bryn and Lilith didn't quite notice this as they were going through, but I think Iskrim can kind of get a sense that there were trees that weren't there. Like they're kind of being encroached upon, and the clearing slowly is getting smaller.
Okay. Not much he can do about that. He might look at Narroth and say, Did you notice that the tree wasn't here when we went inside?
Narroth looks around. There are trees everywhere.
Yes, but I think they move in this place, rather like when we were trying to get into the forest the first time and there was no opening, and all of a sudden it was like they moved and there was a path.
So, do you think there's a path now, or do the trees just like to move?
I think it's the opposite of a path, and also I think they like to move.
I can say that you probably can't make a decision about what's opening and closing just from staying out. You would have to go out and explore a little more.
Okay. Sure. So his response of the trees liking to move is pretty much what he'd say.
So, shall we go out and attack the trees, or what can we do in this situation?
Please attack the trees.
No, I was just thinking that it is interesting. They are more alive than any trees I've ever seen.
Narroth takes up a sword and attacks a windmill. No. Narroth looks around and kind of shrugs and says, "Yeah, this forest is clearly alive. Not like a plant, but more like a creature of some sort. It clearly has some sort of intelligence and will."
Iskrim nods, and as he basically kind of goes around and tries to gather up any sort of dead wood or logs that may be around to basically restock the way station and like tend it. If he finds a loose board on the stairs, he'll try and fix it. Things like that.
Cool. So you guys are basically staying pretty close to the way station.
Yeah, Narroth's not leaving at all.
Yeah.
Cool. As you guys continue, basically your paths start to close ever so slightly until eventually you are encircled by the trees. But there seems to be one sort of game trail that leads you out, and upon further inspection, you will notice that there is some sort of animal that is there. It peeks its head out and then goes back into the trail.
Well, it must have been the wild dog.
Taller than a dog.
Is this Iskrim? Because I think Narroth is staying put.
Iskrim notices it, but he's not going to go anywhere. He has noticed that the trees moved in between him and his friends before, and so he will stay with his friends.
Cool. Your watch ends if you want to wake up Zarrius and Yvette.
Sure, wake them up, tell them about the movement of the trees as well as the one game trail with the animal that was on it, and then go back to sleep.
Okay. Yvette looks towards Zarrius. Is like, should we go check the trail?
No, we should stay here with everyone else. They're gonna get us eventually, I figure.
I mean, if the forest is telling us to take the trail and sent the only living creature we've seen, should we not go?
Iskrim turns over in his bed and says, "Shut up, listen to Zarrius. Let me sleep."
I think.
Excuse me?
I give a hush motion to Yvette and say, so we need to
Everyone is so
just
rude.
let everyone else. What do you mean?
I pose a question, I get shushed.
People are trying to sleep, and I think we should let everyone else sleep, and that way everyone will be fully rested and be able to function properly as we make the trek through the trail.
I'm just saying, if Forrest wants us to go, should we really push?
Yeah, but
its
we're going to go
frustration?
together. We're going to go together.
Should we leave now?
I think we have time. And
That's
Astor
assuming a
Astor
lot.
is, I know, but Astor is perfectly fine wherever he is. I am 99% sure.
Iskrim flips over again. "That is presuming a lot, but we won't do anything if we are not rested. If you're going to talk, go outside."
I walk outside.
He gets grumpy when he's tired, just saying.
Let's see, what... Yvette can summon thunder out of her hands. I just imagine the chaos of her casting her thunder step thing and just boom and then leaving. We won't do that though. So Yvette will head outside with Zarrius.
I'm not worried about Astor.
But
He can
How-
take
how
care of
come-
himself.
I
I'm
saw him
not
get
sure.
knocked out. He's badly injured.
I understand. He is nobility in this area. There's no way they would hurt him further. I have a feeling that people got confused.
Confused about what? Who is Astor?
His mother is pretty much the head family in the Spring Woods. She is second pretty much to the queen. There's a lot of tension between Astor and his mother, to my knowledge, and so he hasn't necessarily been the best son to them and rightful person to take his mother's place once she passes, but there's so much tension between them, I believe, that they do not really talk. And I have a feeling that if Astor were to go back, they would force him to stay. And I know he definitely does not want that.
So we're leaving him alone in a Fey forest where they want to take him back instead of looking for him.
Yes.
And this is a good idea. He could be in the Fey right now.
If so, then I would take us there. And we would get him
that
back.
Causes more problems than if we just found him now.
Maybe, but as you can see, the other people in this party tend to get a little upset if you try and wake him too early.
This seems pathetic. These are the heroes of the Shadowfell?
Only one of them is besides myself, but yeah.
And we're waiting instead of taking action.
Yes. Because I believe that is what we should be doing.
All right, your call.
Do we see anything while we talk, chat?
Yeah, you'll see a figure coming in and out of your vision.
Do I see what kind of figure?
Some sort of animal figure. You won't get a clear glimpse of it unless you explore.
Yeah.
Okay. And the rest goes by fine. Let's go back to Astor. Alright, Astor. I think after an hour or so goes by, Seymour Ciliano will come talk to you. Bo, did you want to do anything in between?
Not really. He'd probably pass the time either, practicing his lute, maybe trying to not sound as crappy on the flute, or maybe even just do some acrobatic swordsman stuff. Aside from that, nothing special.
Okay. Lady Ciliano will come approach you again.
Hey, you're back.
Yes, hi. Your friends are staying put. They don't seem to be very concerned. We sent a creature to bring them here. A unicorn, in fact, but they don't appear to budge.
Astor kind of stops mid-swing, turns his face towards her and says, "A unicorn?"
Yes, I mean, common fey creature.
I've never seen a unicorn before.
Sorry? If you stayed home, maybe you would have.
I guess that's true. Now, I do have a question for you, and this may be pretty far out there, but is there any way for me to, I don't know, contact my family from here?
The best way to contact people of the Feywild is to go into this temple.
Is that so? Astor puts his stuff away, and then he's going to say, "You know what? I'm going to go ahead and give that a shot. Unless there's a reason I shouldn't."
I don't command a Mithlader.
Well, it's not so much about commanding, but whether or not you have any suggestions on things I shouldn't do.
I wouldn't argue with the Mithlader, but as a Mithlader, I don't even know the rules.
Neither do I. At this point, Astor turns and heads towards the temple. He's gonna go inside, and what does it look like?
Yeah, so you walk into this temple, and on its base ground level, it's almost like, well, it's almost exactly like walking to another plane of existence. You were in the Spring Woods and the Summer Canopy very, very briefly in the storyline. If you remember that the Summer Canopy had giant trees where you felt like ants crawling on leaves. And the Spring Woods were massive places where you stayed in a grove, which consisted of where You briefly met your mother and your sister before you escaped with Zarrius way back when. You kind of get there and you're immediately sucked into that power. But besides those two figures of the Spring Woods and the Summer Canopy, you feel two other sort of locations. You feel the Fen of Winters, so you get this kind of ice tundra-esque sort of environment, and you also feel this the autumn field. So you feel basically open plains, and as you walk in, you get the sensations of these four those four planes that feature different elemental ideas come at you all at once, and for the briefest moments, you're overwhelmed.
Okay, Astor shakes it off, and then he's going to focus on the spring fields, and he's going to try and get in contact with his mother.
How?
He's going to say her name. Well, the way he's going to say it is he's going to say, Dan Mithlader, this is your son, Astor. I would like to speak with you.
For the first few moments, silence.
Well, once Astor feels like it's been a while, he's going to actually turn back and see if he can ask Dad for some more advice, I suppose.
How long is a while?
10, 15 minutes.
Okay, so you'll get a reaction at that point.
Okay.
As you enter into this spring woods, about 2 or 3 minutes goes by, and you're kind of just, I imagine you're focusing on the energy a little bit.
Yeah.
As you go forward and focus on this energy, you kind of are overcome with emotions. What would Astor's emotion be when thinking about his mother?
He would probably be experiencing, what's that word? Nostalgia, happiness, mainly because his mother is the one who taught him the arts that he knows, and he fully appreciates that. Looking back on it, he realized she was a bit of a strange person, but, I mean, he had nothing but affection for her.
So as you're overcome with that emotion, you take a deep breath and you just hear a gasp, just oh, and then you kind of regain your surroundings and you find yourself in a very familiar sitting room that belongs to House Mithlader in the Feywild, and you're sitting in one of the seats and you're looking around. You see a fireplace and a bunch of books. But you can kind of tell, like, as you put your hand on the chair, it kind of goes through it. So you can tell that this is, for lack of a better way to phrase it, like astral projection of some sort.
I see. Does he see anybody in that room?
No. After a minute or so passes by, well, first of all, would you do anything in a minute or so?
So, remind me again what the room looks like.
It's just like a sitting parlor room sort of thing. So you have two chairs. I imagine them high back, a bunch of books, and a fireplace.
Astor is going to try and stand up. Does that happen?
Yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, he's going to stand up, kind of walk around the room a bit. Did you say there were books there or something? I'm sorry?
Correct.
He's going to try and pick up a book.
You are unable to pick up a book.
Okay. Well, in this case, he's kind of just going to walk around the room, maybe stop in front of the fireplace. Can he feel the heat or nothing?
You can feel the heat.
You can?
Yes.
He's going to stand there with his back towards the fire in case someone walks in.
Someone walks in.
Who walks in?
The person I have deemed to be called Mama Mithlader. Would you like to tell me a little bit how you picture her?
Well, she is, I guess Mama Mithlader, as you call her. She is taller than he is by just a little bit, not too much. She has very fair skin. She has long blonde hair, very gorgeous green eyes. Her skin is rather pale, to the extent that you would think it's probably just glowing moonlight at this point. She's wearing a very nice silk dress that looks like it kind of moves with her movements, or kind of anticipates it, so it's almost like her body's not even touching it. And she just moves with the grace that you would see in a high elf, which is rather otherworldly to people who aren't used to the Feywild.
She goes there and goes, You summoned me.
I summoned you?
Seems like it.
Does she appear corporeal, or also like a projection, as Astor kind of seems to be experiencing?
She seems don't know how to describe it. She exists in this sense. She can touch things. She physically opened the door. Will probably be the first giveaway.
Oh, that makes sense. At this point, Astor starts walking towards her, and he says, "Well, I don't know. I'm under the impression that I sent myself here, not so much summoned you."
Well, I mean, you requested an audience. How about that?
That's fair. So, well, this might be a weird thing for you to hear from me right now, but how have you been?
I mean, it hasn't been that long since I saw you last. And the way you've treated your siblings, well, you burned a lot of bridges.
I can see how that's the case, though I wasn't quite aware I had other siblings at the time. To be honest, if I could, I would like to make it up. I just don't know how.
Now you can come back to the Fae.
About that, that's actually why I requested your audience, I suppose. So, I am well, this doesn't count as where I really am, but where I came from, I guess. I am currently in the middle of a great forest, which seems to be very powerful in the magic of the spring fields of the Feywild. And I walked into what looks like a broken down ruin, temple, which allowed me to do what I'm doing right now. And one of the tieflings that I was speaking with, she mentioned something about how if I wanted to be able to lead my companions to victory against this great adversary that we have right now, that me embracing the other half of who I am would probably be a decent course of action. If any of that makes sense to you, that's why I'm here.
So you're here to ask for help even after all you've done?
Yes and no, I guess. I'm here to ask for help, but I am also here to say that in exchange for the help, I would be more than willing to give back an equal or greater value.
So you want to make a deal?
Well, a deal sounds too formal and quite frankly detached. I guess this is more of a son asking his mother for guidance and then just giving back.
I'm unsure why the Fae would help you.
I mean, if you don't know, how do you expect me to know?
That's a fair question, not one I necessarily have the answer to.
Well, if I may say this, since I haven't really tapped into the Fae side of my being, if me being able to get in touch with, what you've lived your entire life in, if I can use that to, well, I guess help my friends and, well, other important people that I care about, I would love to be able to make the most of it. And then once one life ends, figuratively speaking, I could probably come back here and live the second one.
So you want us to wait until your friends pass?
I mean, that amount of time is nothing to you, right?
That's assuming a lot.
Astor kind of nonchalantly shrugs and says, I mean, elves live for quite a long time, but, I've been the one doing all the talking right now. What are your impressions of what I'm saying right now?
I think the child is coming to his mom for help when the child has determined he is old enough to make his own decision.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. At least I wouldn't think.
You made your decisions pretty clear.
Astor just sighs and then he says, why do you want me to come back so badly?
This is your rightful place. I want to give you the gift of what is your birthright, what you need.
Personally, I don't have any issue with that. But the only question I do have for you, though, is if I were to accept this, which, believe me, I gladly would. I mean, I would like to, be able to make my family happy, regardless of how much time I have or haven't spent with others who aren't yourself. The only thing is, you probably won't like when I'm going to say this, but I have a couple of attachments in where I came from. Would I be able to claim this birthright and be able to freely move between the Feywild and the material plane?
You have attachments?
I have what you would call a significant other, as well as a child now.
I have a grandchild?
Oh yeah, you have a grandchild.
Don't she is shocked. Like, you can I won't even have you roll for this, but like her jaw drops ever so slightly before she regains her graceful composure.
I'm assuming that came off as rather comedic to Astor. He chuckles a bit and he says, "Yeah, you have a grandson, just born not that long ago."
She. All right.
I mean, Astor's just staring at this point, waiting on a more in-depth reaction.
You said you needed help. What do you need?
Well, are you familiar with the name Lecherous Leon?
Not off the top of my head.
Well, long story short, he is an evil deity that was sealed by the gods a long time ago. And through some unintentional actions of myself and my companions, we accidentally freed him. So, long story short, I'm trying to help my companions to somehow deal with him, whether that be seal him away again or destroy him. I don't know. But from what I've been told by others who are more deeply entrenched in the Pwrlvl than I, being able to get in touch with my other half would be able to make my goal a bit more feasible. As it was put, be more of a powerful leader, if you will. And who else but someone that is a prominent Mithlader?
Yes, the Mithlader has a lot of sway here.
I must admit, I was rather surprised once I was told what the scope of my, family is.
Well, you left before you were able to learn any of it.
That is fair. So, is there anything you can do to help me?
You want to unlock some of your heritage?
That doesn't sound like a bad idea.
She pauses and she thinks, and it's kind of an awkward like minute or two for the silence, and then she goes towards you and goes, look, if you accept more of your heritage, the power will flow through you. I believe from the reports you had Gab with you, I believe.
That is correct.
When you observe her, remember your Eldrin heritage and remember your connection with her, and more. Well, you will understand once it happens.
So just observe her more, try and be more connected. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and when the time comes, you need to come back to the Feywild.
Astor makes an uncomfortable expression for about 1 or 2 seconds, and then he says, I understand.
Whatever you're trying to accomplish, I want you back here. This is not for the Mithlader title or anything like that.
Well, at this point, Astor kind of gives a very, very bright smile towards his mother. He walks up and he attempts to take her hands into his. Do they just go right through, or what happens?
Correct.
Okay. He says, oh, right. Well, he looks right into her eyes and he says, thank you so much for answering my call. I really, really appreciate what you've done for me today. And I promise that you and I will see each other again very soon.
She nods and goes, you remind me of your father back when he was around. Come soon. I would love to meet your friend and your son.
It's a promise. And at this point, Astor disappears.
And so Astor will leave this faith thing. It's very like I hate to use this sense of outer body experience because that's exactly what it is. But he leaves this room and you can see the room kind of getting smaller as he goes back to this weird break between the natural plane and the Feywild.
So he finds himself in that temple one more time.
That's correct.
Okay, Astor's going to walk back out. And does it look like much time has passed, or what does he see at this point?
Yeah, so, significant time has passed. A lot of the people who are with you are currently asleep on the ground, but we are going to take a quick pause.
All right, everybody, we are going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Keep on hanging on there, and we will return shortly with more Low Rollers Live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more Low Rollers Live. Chris, take it away.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to go back to Narroth and Isgrim. For the split second during the rest, it's a little bit of a backtrack, but Narroth, when you enter this forest, you sort of you're thinking a lot about balance through the course of your storyline, and despite everything, despite the power that is emanating from this forest, you do feel that the forest is in an exceptional state of balance. Whatever the Fae represents, the Fae balances with itself.
I see.
So as you're in this forest, it's kind of, I would imagine, especially because Narroth is more in this sort of trying to meditate state and does this like physical type of meditation. The fact that this world is in so much balance, especially how the natural plane is not because of the effects of Lecherous Leon, I just imagine it'd make you uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable?
Yeah, the fact that this world is in so much balance and you're not used to it, especially because you yourself is not necessarily in balance, quote unquote.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so with that information, you can use it as you will, but do you guys go to sleep?
In that case, Narroth would probably do more exercises trying to balance himself.
Cool. Go ahead and roll your spellcasting modifier as you're sort of meditating.
Like a spell attack roll kind of thing?
Sure, that works. Okay, so that was a really good roll. As you go through, you can kind of you're like breathing in and breathing out, and I think as far as this 5-element study goes, you kind of mastered some of the more physical aspects of these 5 elements. You mastered fire, which is very innate. You're able to bring up that passion to move forward. You were able to learn water or ice really quick by sort of channeling some of your human elements, and you're even able to pick up earth without too much help. But as far as metal and wood is concerned, it has been rather difficult, and sort of seeing Zarrius turn into a tree himself, this whole thing kind of just, it hasn't clicked to be in balance and get that, supposedly rejuvenating feeling of wood as you're supposed to get, until you kind of stepped in. You kind of see how the world's imbalanced here, and it just kind of makes sense for the briefest of seconds.
Like that moment of clarity kind of thing.
Yes. I'm not gonna say you can do anything with it, but this place and what you're trying to learn, it kind of just made sense.
Perfect. That would probably give Narroth a feeling or a state of being to kind of chase after. He's now almost on a path, and he can, keep going down this path until he reaches his goal.
Right. So this is a lot of out of character knowledge at this point. The virtue of wood kind of represents benevolence, and it represents kind of this idea of flourishing yourself and the world around you. While the other ones have been more towards like earth is very much about stability, water is very much about being like having a high aptitude and kind of an agile mind, and fire is obviously passion. Would, in the sense of this exploration of benevolence, how, kind of understanding this idea of flourishing and growing, how do you think Narroth will react to this kind of understanding of it?
I think this is going to be something where usually Narroth, whenever he finds out new information, meditates by doing something physical. He does training poses. He spars against other people, or he, practices magic in some way. But in this, I think he's probably going to try to be still as much as possible. And he's going to follow the feeling of growth from within rather than any action he would take is more of a kind of almost an emotional state.
All right, I think we'll that will be the information you glean in this briefest of moments before your rest ends and you go back to sleep.
Perfect.
And then Zarrius and Yvette will do their talk, and then everyone will eventually wake up after completing a short rest. The party has rolled all their hit dice and stuff in the break, so we don't have to worry about that now. We can just wake up and go forward. Everyone wakes up.
Okay, guys. Let's get a move on. Let's see what we can. Let's go find Astor.
Iskrim nods, gathers his pack, goes outside, and points out the game trail, if it's still there, to everybody.
Yeah. First thing you notice is that Yvette has donned her armor when she was while she was on her watch, and she's just kind of sitting there. She's jittery. She is not exactly focused, and she is like almost towards the game trail as Iskrim says this. The game trail is still there. It's very small. You would have to walk single file, but you can still transverse it.
I'll take point.
I'll take the rear.
Narroth will head up second.
I'll be behind Yvette.
Yvette will follow Narroth? Who are we missing? Lilith.
I guess I'll be in between Bryn and Iskrim.
Oh, okay. So you guys have a thing, and are you guys walking? Are you guys doing anything really? Just walking silently.
Walking silently. I would be walking silently. And I would suggest probably to everyone to not be talking very much so that we can listen to whatever might be around us.
I'll talk to Yvette.
She's just kind of she's kind of jumpy. She hears a movement from like Iskrim behind her, and just kind of like, like does like a little shoulder jump thing.
Girl, you okay?
It's like, I don't understand why we slept when we had to do things. I don't get it.
Well, what I know is Zarrius knows the nature of this forest. Zarrius knows nature. And he thought it best that we wait. Since he's in charge, we wait.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Why would we wait?
Well, sometimes the best way to find something is to not be looking for it at all. And it seems like this forest controls what we're going to be, where we're going to be moving anyways, so.
But the path opened up for us overnight. We should have left as soon as it came up.
But do we know that this is the path to Astor?
Well, I mean, if we're trusting the forest, shouldn't we have trusted it sooner?
Should we be trusting the forest that dragged Astor into it?
Then should we be staying here at all?
I don't think
Like,
we
we're
have
trusting,
much
we're
choice
trusting the
anyways.
forest now. Well, we're trusting the forest now, regardless of whether we should or not. Why didn't we trust her sooner? Why don't we take more action?
The only way we leave this forest is if it wants us to.
So that doesn't answer my questions. Like, why did we wait?
Because if we had not waited, Zarrius would not have made it this far.
But Zarrius seems fine. He would have been fine last night. We could have went.
Listen, as a trained person in medicine, Zarrius needed rest, and I cannot spend the last of my healing magic. If what you said is true, and Astor went down before he was swallowed, Astor might need that healing magic.
It's just, I can't have Astor's anything beyond my conscience. He has a kid.
Don't you think we all are aware of this?
So
Listen.
why aren't we acting?
Because sometimes patience is a virtue. You cannot always rush off to what you think is the easiest course of action. This party knows that better than most. We rushed off and followed a person because we thought it was the easiest answer. And now look at where that got us.
But doing nothing is not having patience.
We aren't doing nothing. We were recuperating from the previous day's battles. We battled dwarves, a dragon, and then some God knows elemental creatures where they came from. Zarrius was on death's door. Sometimes you have to stop and think. You can't just run forward. If anything that goddamn ziggurat taught me was that you can't just rush off and think there's an easy answer.
Bryn's gonna hold up her hand to Lilith and she's gonna lay it flat and then just bring it down as a sign of okay, cool it a little bit. Yvette, I'm happy that you're concerned. But Zarrius didn't feel like he could lead us to finding Astor in the state he was in. And we can't split apart here in this forest, or else we'll stay apart.
You're playing on assumptions that something would happen definitively. What if we just explored the game trail? That's what the forest wanted, then it's what the forest wanted.
You are playing on the same assumptions. As many assumptions, just different ones.
Exactly. So why are these assumptions correct and mine are wrong?
I didn't say yours was wrong. I'm just asking you to trust in what Zarrius felt. He has the most experience in forests like this. He's the authority in places like this.
I think Yvette will look at Zarrius and goes, "What do you say, Zarrius?"
We're single file walking down this thing. I'm probably just hearing this in the background.
I mean, you guys are fairly close. You did mention that.
Right, yes. So what Zarrius is going to say from all this is... I was hurt last night, or whatever time of day it was, and I definitely did not have the strength to be able to walk this that I do now. That was first and foremost. Second, I know we could have explored the game trail. We've broken up the party before, and I didn't want to do that again, and that's why I suggested that we did not do that. I understand that we might have jeopardized Astor and his life. And I understand he is quote-unquote lost right now. I did not want us to be in the same boat that he was. Right now it seems like we have a clear path and we're taking it, and hopefully this leads to who we hope it leads to.
You're assuming a lot, but if this is the correct answer, I hope you were right.
I hope I'm right too. That decisions needed to be made, and I thought this was the right thing to do. I hope I'm right, and the sooner we get there, the sooner we find out.
I think she's just going to go into a very awkward silence.
And maybe pick up the pace a little bit.
On to Zarrius, and who's right behind Zarrius? Narroth? Why don't they both give me perception checks?
Oh good, a wisdom score.
Rolls higher than the monk.
The wisdom character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's enough to tell you that you do once in a while see something coming from your path. You don't know what it is, but it appears to be a elk or deer or some sort of horse. You know, it gleams kind of white, but that's about it.
The centaur.
Narroth taps Zarrius on the shoulder and points basically over his shoulder so he can see.
Yeah. I see it. Let's keep going, and same pace. Like nothing has changed in terms of what we've seen and what we've not seen. So I'm not going to change the pace at all. Keep pushing forward.
Narroth turns to the party and puts his finger to his lips in a hushing movement.
You know, maybe an hour or so passes by in this awkward silence. Do you want to do anything within the hour, or are you just going to do a slow, begrudging, not really slow, but as fast as the path lets you go?
Yeah.
Pace?
Yep. That's what I'm going to do, at least. I'm going to keep pushing forward. And
Yeah, I mean, it's not a straight line per se. I mean, you do kind of have to maneuver around the path, but
sure.
you know, About an hour or so passes by. Any scenes?
There's definitely going to be one where Narroth is going to be whispering to Zarrius. Are you sure we shouldn't have followed the creature? We're on a game trail. This is what we're looking for, right?
Yeah, but I didn't get a good enough look at what that creature was, and the creature is probably still around us.
You think it's tracking us?
I feel like I saw this figure last night outside of the hut.
I see.
And since we saw it again, that's my feeling that he's or it is tracking us.
Now, if this is the only thing we're seeing, it might lead us to at least somewhere better.
Yes. If we see it when we see it again, let's try and make a connection or contact or something, because I definitely do not want to harm it in any way.
Narroth nods. The things in this forest are testy enough without trying to kill them.
Yes. So let's be friendly.
That's probably going to be it. They're just going to continue until they see it again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah. Bryn is going to stand off to the side for a moment and let Lilith pass her, and then kind of follow close behind. Sorry about shushing.
It's fine. She just doesn't understand what some of us have been through. It's fine.
She's scared, and she blames herself. I imagine that she feels much like a certain somebody else after a certain incident.
I can imagine that.
She just needs time to think. And time to get control back. But she doesn't need any of the blame.
No. It's not her fault. We entered into a forest that is literally alive. And there's no way we can tell what's going on. You know, we have to trust that Zarrius can do what he says. And she doesn't know Zarrius well enough, or, you know, any of us well enough to learn that trust. It took us a long time for that trust.
I know,
we had to go through what we went through for that trust.
Less anger, more understanding is all I'm trying to say.
Sorry, my temper gets the better of me sometimes.
I know. Then she'll give Lilith like a pat on the shoulder and continue walking.
Anything else?
Are you talking scene-wise?
Yes.
No.
No.
Cool. Iskrim, anything?
I think the only thing he'd be doing is just kind of looking side to side and backwards to see if there are any other creatures around or any tracks of anything.
Perfect. As you look behind you, you kind of see that the tree line is closing in behind you as you walk.
Okay. He doesn't mention this to anybody.
Hope no one left anything in the hideout or the way station. About an hour and a half goes by, and Zarrius will notice a figure, a creature in front of it. For the briefest of moments, Narroth can see this as well because Zarrius is short, and I sometimes forget that. What you see a white horse creature who has a horn at the top of the creature's head. And for the briefest of moments, this creature dashes off into the forest, into some path that doesn't seem to exist. And as the thing passes in the trail in front of you, you notice a clearing.
Would I recognize this animal?
History? Yeah, yes.
Okay. From the Feywild, would it be from?
So this is like so we have the Greater Fey, which is like Dav, the Fey Court, as we talked about, and then this would be like the next tier of Fey, which would be the unicorns and like some of the Fey dragons and those sort of things. So lesser Fey, I guess, would be the way I would phrase it.
Okay. Cool. So I probably wouldn't react to necessarily seeing the horse, but seeing a clearing, I'd kind of rush forward a little bit, seeing that there was a clearing ahead.
Narroth, what do you do?
Narroth definitely doesn't know what this is, and he is probably going to look at Zarrius and say, "Did you see that?"
Oh yeah, that was something that we see all the time in the Feywild. It's a powerful being that it's common-ish. So yeah, it's something that I've definitely seen before. Nothing that's out of the ordinary, especially for this type of forest.
Narroth raises his head. Does this look like a similar thing that he saw the previous night?
I mean, you can kind of comparison it. It wouldn't be a far leap to assume that this creature is the same as the one you saw the previous evening, but there's no way to know for sure.
I see. In that case, he'd just be kind of, considering it to himself as they walk into the clearing.
You walk in the clearing and you see the temple, and you see a bunch of people. It seems like there's a campfire at this point. You see tents, you see fires. There's some music being played.
What time of day is this? Would we be able to tell?
I'm going to say that it appears to be nighttime, even though your appearance of what time it should be based on the natural plane is not that. It should be like 10 a.m. or so, but the clearing shows the stars and the moon.
Okay. I take it people notice us first?
That depends how you guys exit the clearing.
I would probably, once we had enough space for everyone to actually get out of the corridor of the trees that we were going through, I would go out far enough so that everyone is able to be in the clearing area, but no farther, and kind of just stand there and look at it, kind of like ooh and ahhing, but not actually saying anything. Ooh, yeah, no.
What's everyone else doing?
Narroth is going to be at the edge of the clearing and kind of helping people out of the forest.
Iskrim will exit the forest into the clearing and just take a look around, trying to see how many other people there are there, how large the clearing is.
Yeah, there's maybe about 15 to 20 people. The clearing is rather large. The biggest thing again is this this Aztec kind of oriented temple. And there's maybe like 2 campfires going there. There's a larger one and a smaller one. The larger one appears to have more dancing, more music being played, and the smaller one appears to be in a polite way, the older folk who are just kind of
Chilling.
eating, chilling, sure.
Conversing.
Unable to fully participate.
Are these people tiefling?
Correct. They're the blue-hued tieflings. Most of them appear to have elven ancestry.
As we all get out and take a look at what the setting is, I would turn around and say, we're foreigners, we're diplomats. Let's not use any weapons or draw any weapons if possible. If they come rushing at us looking to take us someplace, I want to surrender and allow them to do whatever they want to do. I know that's not necessarily what you all would like to do, at least, but I think as foreigners here, we need to submit ourselves to whatever they're allowing us to be in this forest, let's just say. So we'll see if this is okay or not. I don't know. Hopefully Astor's here or something, but we'll see.
You got it, boss. Bryn will go skipping up towards the big campfire.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. Anyone follow immediately?
I kind of slowly walk in, not skip over like Bryn would.
Lilith's gonna hang back, sort of viewing her surroundings, sort of just in her own mind at a certain point in time.
Cool. Yeah, as you head over to this camp, let me ask what Iskrim is doing before, and Narroth as well.
Iskrim's hanging back at the edge of the forest in the clearing too.
Narroth is intentionally standing close to the forest than by the fire, still kind of chasing that sense of balance.
Cool. Narroth, you enter this clearing and you're, for lack of a better way to explain it, you feel more powerful in this kind of opening, this grove, this thing. You sense that your sense of magic is kind of heightened ever so much.
Interesting.
And why don't you go ahead and give me an Arcana check using your Charisma? Yeah, so you're not too sure about where the source of this is coming from.
Understood.
Cool. Let's go to Bryn, skipping forward, followed by Zarrius. You guys head forward into this clearing, and first thing you realize is that none of these people have weapons. There are a couple people who are carrying walking sticks, and there is one lady in particular that has a black staff that kind of branches out at the bottom, much like Zarrius' staff does. A little taller, more suited for a elven tiefling, but still with the same sort of aesthetic. And she's sitting there. She's laughing, clapping. You know, it depending on how long you guys waited before you jumped in, you probably saw her do a little dance step when coaxed by some of the other people. But as you guys approach and Bryn skips in, she stiffens, very vividly stiffens, and looks towards the young tiefling skipping towards her.
I mean, I'll skip right up to, I mean, not right up to her, but just outside the group and just see what the reactions are.
The music stops. It's like those classic scenes in movies where, like, yeah, this high-paced music is going, and then, like, the tuning goes, like, sour until the music actually stops.
A record scratch.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello, are you, Sir Mithlader's friends?
Yeah, actually, yes. Astor.
Do
you know where he is?
He's in this temple over here.
Oh, good. Is he hurt?
He had pretty grievous injuries when he arrived, but not enough to phase him.
Well, thank you for taking care of him.
Oh, we didn't take care of him, but he is very durable.
Yeah, I guess he is. Well, thanks for the information, at least.
Yes, who are you exactly?
My name is Bryn. Bryn Wanders. And this, and she points over to Zarrius, who's probably hobbling up behind her right now.
Yeah, I was probably about to walk up to the group area.
This is Zarrius. He's my little brother.
And I you just hear him literally like sigh out loud. And as what a little brother would do, I take my staff and hit Bryn's foot with it.
She brings her foot up to her hands and starts like dancing while like cradling it, basically. Ow.
I think this would be a good moment for Astor to see Zarrius just whack Bryn on the foot, going ow, 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 as Astor enters the scene.
Astor just laughs out loud and he says, "Well, nice to see you guys haven't changed at all."
Astor, she'll run over to him and give him a hug.
Astor receives it and he goes, "Hey, glad you guys are okay."
I'm glad you're okay. You're the one who got dragged off into the forest.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience.
Astor.
Okay. She runs back towards the party to go tell him that Astor's safe and here, and it's fine.
Thank God you're here. Yvette was practically killing me. He did not like the fact that we waited to come and hopefully see you. So this was all speculation that you were okay. And obviously you are.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna like go up and give him like a bro hug, but obviously I would like grab the back of his back, lower back, and for that. But
Get that booty.
Astor pats Zarrius on the shoulder and he says, "Well, I appreciate the concern you all had for me. I'm glad we're all okay."
I am too, and Yvette will be very happy too. She hasn't been very happy recently.
Well, yeah, I certainly hope things get better for her. And if her seeing that I'm okay helps, well, that's good then.
Yes. I'd be signaling for everyone to come over.
Yeah, I think Bryn is grabbing them at this point. Unless they physically tell me right now they're not going to go towards the camp, then we'll assume they all do. They all do.
Do I see Astor?
I mean, probably.
Then I'll go over.
It's the one non-blue or red creature in the vicinity.
That's fair.
Hey,
He met at the campfire.
There's only 3 non-blue or red creatures here.
Well, 2. Isgrim's blue.
No, that's why I said me, Astor, and
Yvette, yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her.
Aw.
You're a dick.
She's looking for the bottle she left at the way station.
I'm guessing Astor sees everybody and he kind of walks over in their direction. And he says, "Well, glad to see you all here."
I think the music is going to pick up as well as you guys convene.
does Lilith see Yvette looking for her bottle?
Probably not. It was a joke.
Oh.
So Astor's going to walk up to everyone and he's going to go to Yvette first. And he's going to say, "So, a little birdie, very little birdie, kind of looks over in Zarrius' direction. Told me that you were concerned. I really apologize for putting you through that stress."
What happened?
Well, you saw the beginning of it. I got dragged off by some vines to here, actually. And, I mean, I met all of these people here, and some more approached me, and, you know, we kind of talked a bit. And then, well, I kind of went in there, and he points towards the temple. Spoke with my mother, and kind of figured out a couple of things.
We spoke with your mother?
How do I explain this? That temple ruin over there has a very strong attunement to the magic of the Feywild. When I walked in, I kind of got buffeted by spring, summer, fall, and winter. And since my family is from the spring, I kind of followed that vein, and I wasn't actually there, but I was there. So, spoke with my mother. She gave me a couple of hints that will probably help me help everybody. It's a magic thing. I don't know how to really explain it.
She doesn't get it. You can see it in her face.
Well, Astor chuckles a bit and he says, "Well, what's important is we're all okay. So what would you guys like to do? Do we want to rest up a bit first, or?"
I'm assuming this is addressed towards everyone.
Yes.
Well,
Yes, I think we should, if we have the ability, take the time, because once we leave the forest, we have an army of ice dwarves and a dragon to deal with.
I agree. We should definitely stay here longer. There's something about this place.
Well, it may very well be the Feywild magic I was talking about earlier. Actually,
the
let
music.
me rephrase that. Or that, let me rephrase. There is a lot of powerful Feywild magic here.
Yes.
Iskrim asks the old woman if it's okay if they stay for a while.
You have to talk to Pwrlvl. It's not. I'm not in charge.
I have to talk to who?
She points to the lady with the staff that looks like Zarrius.
Astor is going to say, well, we need to speak with Seymour, which is who he's indicating towards.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so Iskrim gets up and starts to walk over there. But I, as a player, it's probably not the best if he is the one to talk to her. Just saying.
Astor is going to follow Iskrim, actually.
I would actually follow Iskrim as well.
Intercept! Intercept! You don't want to follow. You want to get there ahead of me. I'm just saying.
So, what's the scene?
Iskrim's walking up towards this lady that Astor pointed out, and Astor and Zarrius are behind her.
Okay. So, Seymour is going to look towards Iskrim, and I think at this point, realizing what Iskrim is, it's gonna pull out her staff, and she like bangs it on the floor, and it's just like this thump that kind of gets the attention of both Iskrim, Zarrius, and Astor, and probably slow down Iskrim's confident intentions.
At this point, Astor says, whoa, whoa, whoa. Calm down, he's a friend.
You said we were being attacked by ice doors.
I'm sorry, he is an exception. I should have mentioned that one of my companions was an ice dwarf.
What?
Iskrim here has no ill intent towards anyone that escaped into the forest. Release him if you will.
Okay, so she didn't actually cast magic. She just revealed some like power, I guess would be the word I would say. Like the staff thudded on the ground, and Iskrim felt the authority of nature, or primal energy, or something like that, and it caused. I am giving Iskrim the option to slow down slightly in his approach.
Not only would he do that, he would actually bow. He'd go down on one knee and bow.
Okay, in that case, Astor would probably say something slightly different. He would just walk up to this scene and he would say, did something happen?
You said that the ice doors were attacking. What's going on?
You see Astor make kind of like, oh crap expression on his face, and then he said, I apologize, but I forgot to mention that one of my companions is an ice dwarf and he is not a part of the attacking party.
So are there two factions of ice doors?
Iskrim stands up and says, well, if you consider one ice dwarf an entire faction, yes.
She kind of like gives a shrug, and it's like, I don't know. Okay, there's a lot going on here tonight.
We apologize for that, but on my word, Iskrim here is trustworthy.
On the word of a Mithlader, alright. I am Lady Seymour Silyana.
And you see Zarrius take a knee with his hand on one of his staff, and he's gonna, once she kind of signals, he's gonna use the staff to get back up. Uh,
I think she doesn't know what to do with all the bowing. She kind of looks around and goes like, is this normal? Like, kind of looking around like, is this part of the dance?
Astor at this point is gonna look towards Isgrim and say, "Is there a reason you bowed in the first place?"
She has the power of the forest, and my people revere the land very much. Almost a form of worship. We're very dedicated to it, and so she has the power of this place, and upon her revealing it, I wish to show her respect.
At this point, Astor turns back to Seymour and he says, well, these two fellows here, actually, in particular, revere nature to quite an extent. So, I suppose once they felt the command that you have over nature, they kind of reacted as such. So it's not normal, but it would be typical of their behavior.
All right. You people have weird customs.
Astor just shrugs and he says, "Hey, the world is a huge place.
So I'm learning."
Also, I have a favor to ask you on behalf of my companions.
What?
Would it be possible for us to spend a little bit of time here to kind of recuperate and address our wounds? I know that the Fae in this forest were a little irate at me, but I figured it wouldn't hurt to ask.
Do you want to stay here for the evening?
To rest, yes, that would be most appreciated.
She kind of, this is how I'm picturing it. She kind of, bangs her staff on the ground and her eyes grow this like lime green that you kind of sense from Gav when she goes into more of a caster sense. And she seems to hum very briefly, and based on what Astor and Zarrius know of the Feywild, you kind of recognize the tune as something that is very Fey in origin. And the sound goes louder, and this energy appears to emanate from her. And at that moment, everyone feels well. They feel healthy. Their wounds begin to close. They gain back their energy.
Well, once that scene ends, Astor is going to say something.
It ends.
Oh, sorry. Astor says, "Huh. That was a rather unique sensation I just experienced. What was that?"
It's the power of this place. When you need to wander a little further, it gives you the energy to do so.
Wow. I must admit, this is quite amazing. I do have a... Sorry, go ahead.
It's not something that should be done regularly. It's you need the energy. All you need to do is ask for it, but eventually you should get some real sleep.
Zarrius, knowing that Miles had mentioned that this place might have some sort of Obad-hai relations, will ask Seymour, do you guys worship Obad-hai? in this area?
Who?
Obad-hai, the nature god. He, I've heard that you guys are familiar with his teachings.
We worship Elona.
Would I know who that is?
Yeah, sure. Roll
Religion?
history or religion. I'll allow either. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. So, Elona is a greater fae who kind of represents unicorns in the arts of healing. Elona is like the fae counterpart of Obad-hai.
Ah. So, with Zarrius' realization of that, I don't remember what the name was that you just said in terms of what the religion or whatnot is.
Elona.
Elona, okay. Yes, Elona. I am familiar with her, question mark. I am familiar with who she is, but not all too familiar with what exactly she stands for.
She is the goddess of life. She represents basically all we represent here. We go through the forest, we follow her tracks, we provide healing, we provide
Tap, tap, tap.
energy. What?
Bryn will be behind her, tapping on her shoulder.
Sorry, hello.
Hi, Zarrius. Excuse me for a sec. She gives a quick bow and extends her hand and says, "Want to dance?"
To Zarrius or to
No, to her.
Seymour? It's like she pauses, she thinks, looks at Zarrius, probably looks at Astor for a second, goes, "Yeah, let's dance."
Sorry,
she clips
Zarrius.
her staff back on her back and goes off.
So Bryn will take lead, basically, putting her left hand on her side, on Seymour's side, and start leading her around the campfire as the music plays. And she'll say to her, "So, I didn't get your name."
I am, I think a lot of people call me on, Lady Silyana.
Lady. Isn't that normally a title for someone in charge?
I don't put too much stock in titles.
Fair enough. And your first name?
Samora.
Samora Silyana.
A tongue twister, I've heard.
Samora Silyana. Samora Silyana. Samora Silyana. And she'll extend her right hand basically as a cue for Seymour to twirl. And as Seymour is twirling, she'll reach into her jacket pocket and pull out a little note that she got from Mild Miles, which has the name, I'm assuming,
Yeah. Okay.
Samora Silyana on it.
Yeah, so you can look at that real quick.
Okay, give it a quick glance over. Samora Silyana, she'll catch her after the twirl and continue to dance around. We've heard about you.
Oh, good things, I hope.
Oh, yes, wonderful things, beautiful things. There's something about this place, is it the forest, that helps people recuperate?
Yes, I believe the party has felt some of that power.
No, I don't know. I'm busy dancing.
She chuckles to herself as, she does this very intricate set of steps that I'm assuming Bryn wouldn't know, but then gets back in step with Bryn.
What has Astor told you about us?
Something about Excelsior and the Wounded King, but we're well aware of that issue.
Oh, and what do you know about it?
Maybe that's a conversation for another time.
Oh. Okay. She'll continue to dance. I'm thinking. Hold on.
Okay. Should I cut to another scene?
Yeah, they'll just continue to dance for a little bit.
So we'll go to Eastgrim, and I believe Narroth wanted to explore the temple as well.
That's correct.
Does Lilith want to do anything?
No, not really. She's something that the conversation with Yvette really sort of just tweaked something in her mind, and she's just sort of sitting off by herself.
Cool. Yvette is not anywhere obvious at the moment. If you choose to look for her.
No, she's just sort of off by herself.
Perfect. We'll go to Eastgrim, and since you guys are basically doing the same thing, we can have you approach the temple at relatively the same time.
Perfect. I'm pretty sure Narroth wouldn't be as approaching as much as kind of being drawn to. You can see him kind of not really looking where he's going. His eyes are a little bit glazed over, and he's trying to follow the sense of immediate overwhelming power that he felt when he entered this clearing. And I'm assuming that's going to take him to the temple.
That's a very good assumption. Very accurate assumption as well.
Perfect.
Let's go to Iskrim real quick.
He's actually studying basically the stonework of how the temple was made. If there are any runes or writings or anything on it.
Yeah, you want to give me a history? No, I'll give this to you for free. The stonework does not appear to be natural in origin.
Cool.
So, it's like, it seems like it's one solid thing of stone that was carved out to create this temple, but it's not like a natural granite or anything like that.
Okay.
Cool. So you can explore that. There's not particularly any runes or anything like that. There is parts of it that seem to have some wear and tear, so it's not magical in the sense where it's resistant to the elements, but yeah, there's definitely age to this work. I guess I'll take us to Narroth again.
Perfect. Narroth is going to be wandering to the place in the temple that he feels that magic call the most.
Yeah, when you enter the temple, and this is less distinguishable from Narroth because he hasn't had time in the Fae. He feels, for lack of a better way to put it, he feels time, like time stop. He feels the essence of summer, winter, fall and spring all at once, and I would imagine it's extremely overwhelming.
I'm gonna guess that you're right. At this, Narroth is probably going to stop where he is and kind of, as this is as far as he can go, he's probably just going to try to chase that feeling of balance that he felt earlier in this place of power. Cool. So Narroth is going to go at this assuming that he's going to be able to feel that tug better in a place of more power, so he's going to go to the most powerful place he can.
Cool. I think Iskram will also see Narroth heading into the temple.
Oh, he'll definitely follow.
Cool. You get the same thing as that Narroth felt potentially overwhelming. Narroth kind of itches in step by step and focusing on this concept of balance. Why don't you roll me a spell casting or Arcana with Charisma? And you briefly hold on. Yeah, and you find yourself in this, for the brief seconds, just extremely warm. You can kind of feel humidity that you didn't notice, outside this temple.
Interesting. I guess Narroth, is there a direction where this warmth is coming from, or is it more overall?
Yeah, I think it's more overall.
Okay. He's going to look over to Iskram and say, Do you feel that warmth?
Okay, so Iskram is going to approach and actually feel the opposite. He feels a sense of cold. He can kind of feel the same sort of things he feels in the Cascade Range where snow and sleet is falling. He can't feel the physical particles of ice and snow falling, but he can feel the coldness of it.
So when Narroth asks Iskram that question, he stops for a second and thinks about it, and then he shakes his head. He says, "No, in fact, it feels cold to me."
Narroth is going to kind of look over and close his eyes, trying to feel that cold. When you find that all he can feel is warmth, he's going to shake his head and just kind of keep sitting, basking in the warmth.
Actually, I would like to say that I think that if you looked for the cold, you would find it.
Oh, okay. In that case, he's going to try and see if he can feel anything else. You mentioned earlier that he could kind of feel all the seasons. He's going to try and see if he can find the humidity of fall or the rains of spring.
Yeah, so give or take over the course of the next 10 minutes, you can probably explore all 4 seasons.
Narroth's going to kind of switch between these and just kind of let it wash over him.
Cool, and that's probably all you'll get for the next hour or so. Do you want to remain here for that long?
Probably.
Iskram?
Same.
Okay. Let's go to Zarrius.
So Zarrius sees Bryn take this lady and start dancing with her, and It's like, okay, well, I was having a conversation with her, so I guess I'll just like see what everyone is doing around. And he's walking around a little bit and he sees Lilith sitting there. Looks like she's not the most happy that she's been. And Zarrius is gonna go up to her and be like, "Hey, why don't you come dance?" And grabs Lilith and pulls her to the dancing area.
Lilith resists. I'm good. Go have fun.
Come on.
No, I just need some time.
That's what I said when you dragged me.
This is different. Just, Zarrius, just let me be for now.
Okay. Don't know what you're missing out on. And he goes around the area and starts doing what he was doing last time he was dancing.
Rhythmic movements.
Rhythmic movement.
That was really cute. Let's go back to Bryn and Lady Selyana.
So Selyana. Oh, are you starting? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go for it.
So Selyana, what does that mean?
Selyana?
Yeah, your name.
I was kind of named it from the forest.
Oh, the forest name is Selyana?
It's interesting. How do I explain this? I think whoever decided in what we are, or the forest didn't name you, but I think the people of the world needed a name for us. So the forest and the people of the forest gave the people of the world a name.
I think I understand.
So here I am.
Here you are.
Yeah, this was fun. But I think I need to talk to your friends, and I think I saw some of them go into the tower or the temple.
Yeah, I think they're trying to sneak around, but it's been a pleasure meeting you, and it's been I've had a wonderful time dancing with you.
Of course, I think we'll talk more after this.
I hope we do. Bryn will give a bow and wait for her to turn. And start to walk away,
turn.
basically.
Yeah, she'll turn.
Then she'll jog over to Zarrius with the little paper in hand. Zarrius.
Okay! What?
She'll hold the paper up in front of him and point at her name. Selyana.
Yes, I'm aware.
We're supposed to talk to her.
I know.
Okay. Just making sure you knew.
I am well aware of our goal as to try and see what she is capable of and see if we could bring it back with us.
Well, she's certainly capable of it. At least she tells me.
I've experienced it.
Okay. Just making sure you knew.
Yes, I know.
She'll scurry off then.
And then, like, Zarrius looks like absolutely exhausted just from that brief conversation of talking with Bryn.
You see Samora Soyana bang the staff again, and you feel fine.
Oh, wow.
No, that doesn't happen, but
I know.
pretty close.
Yeah.
And I think with Lilith kind of well, let me ask this real quick. What is Astor doing? Does Astor participate in the festivities?
For the most part, yes.
Cool. So we have this scene of Astor, Bryn, and Zarrius kind of dancing around, you know, eating some of the rations there that consist mostly of bread. We have Iskrim and Narroth meditating in this this place of Fey energy to the point where it is overwhelming, and if they were any less of what they are, it may have been a disastrous effect. And then we have Lilith and Yvette on the outskirts, kind of looking in, contemplating the events of the past 24 hours.
And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and call it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the Rollers Live. Just as a reminder, if you need to get caught up, there is a link below to our YouTube channel, which has all of our past episodes available there for you to watch. We also will stream every Monday night at 9 p.m. Pacific here on twitch.tv. And we rebroadcast every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Just in case you missed some of the start and you want to go back and watch it, you can join it live there and be part of the chat and all the festivities there. Thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed it, please share it with your friends. We'd love to have more people in here as part of the community and taking part in the story. Thank you so much again for joining us, and have a wonderful night. Bye. See you next week.